to say otherwise, which forces strained interpretations that have nothing to do with the original context or setting that the text was written in. And if you stray from that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so the original context of the New Testament would be the way of salvation, the new covenant of salvation in Messiah. So that's what's sure, not because you made a profession of faith or whatever. That's what opened the door to free grace theology, an emphasis during the Reformation, which was a good thing, of righteousness by faith. But then they overstepped their bounds, and it's like, we have what free grace is. Now, here's the question. Oh, you don't believe in free grace or that it's all the work of Christ? Of course it is. But let me ask you, do you agree with the idea that all you have to do is be drunk in a car one time and see a sign that says honk for Jesus and think that sounds like a good idea? They tell me if I don't, I'm going to burn in hell forever. So yeah, I agree to that. And then never think of God again the rest of your life. You're going to heaven and other people aren't. This is outlandish, and this is salvation cadabra, salva cadabra. Good on you. You said the words. Good for you. Wow. You're going to heaven forever. I mean, if you need that, go ahead and make up your own fairy tales. I don't care. Except for just don't teach it to other people, please, because it's not what the Bible teaches. But I mean, the idea that you don't have to be faithful is absurd. They would have laughed you out of the early church as a heretic, in my opinion. So it's your duty to serve God. And serving God is loving God and loving others. That's what the commandments are. So if you don't believe that honking for Jesus makes you a Christian and other people are going to burn forever, but not you, no matter what you do, if you think that sounds wrong, that is the ultimate outcome of free grace. That's what that's the lowest denominator. That's what it's sunk to in evangelicalism. I mean, you can appreciate people being honest, but that's not what Jesus taught. And it's not what Paul taught either. So here's another question you might ask yourself. What did the early church believe about this? Because if the controversy today that to be faithful is works-based salvation, there sure wasn't anybody standing up for it in the church Jesus established for the first 400 years, but not even after that. Not even Calvin. Calvin would laugh at free grace. Everybody that's like a derivative of this wouldn't know what the heck you guys are talking about as far as free grace as a theology, the distinctive theology of what they call free grace, which is honk for Jesus and you're going to heaven. Other people are going to go to hell forever and burn forever. That's a pagan fairy tale. It's nonsense. It's magic spells. It's Harry Potter. I'm a Seventh Day Adventist because it's consistent with the Protestant Reformation, which was predicted in prophecy. And we're living in the falling away from the faith. And Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. The real distinctive of Adventism is we're living in the last time, and we are, because of Daniel, that people would know about it. We do. It's consistent with the overall biblical picture, which is laid out in this isn't really an SDA teaching, but it goes along with it, that there's a pattern to the creation story with Jesus at the center, and it's that pattern exists in Genesis. And we're living right at that end time. And prophecy said they would change times and laws. That's where we see ourselves. People will not endure sound doctrine. Free grace exists. People will not have a love for the truth. They don't. And we're right in that timeline that fits the pattern. And my church keeps the Sabbath. And that's a law that was changed. And the whole Protestant Reformation, which was predicted by prophecy, would be in vain if somebody wasn't standing or guarding the Sabbath, because the man of sin, which is lawlessness, was going to seek to change times and laws, and he did. Now it's cemented in the church. Now people are, rather than rather than honoring the Sabbath, they pretend like the law's done away with, even though it defines sin, which is what you need a gospel for in the first place. So I'm a Seventh Day Adventist because I have nowhere else to go.